Let's run through some more multiple choice questions here. We've got some on our filing status. Now, 4 years ago, when Cox's spouse died, Cox filed a joint tax return for that year. Cox did not remarry, but continued to provide full support for a minor child who has been living with Cox. What is their most advantageous filing status for the year? Couple points to keep in mind. We can do a nice process of elimination. Also, like, you could just look at this and say, what is the most advantageous? Obviously, head of household going to be more advantageous than single. So just something to keep in mind. But can this person do head of household? That's what we'll find out. That's what we'll see. In this case, we've got a couple options. So like, again, this person can qualify for multiple, but which of those is the best? Let's see, single. Well, that's gonna not be the most advantageous because in the current year, this person is providing support for a dependent. So we can eliminate single. Now, in theory, I don't think the IRS is going to complain if you choose a filing status that's not as advantageous for you, but the purpose here is what is most advantageous for this taxpayer. Next, married filing separate. This is not going to be the most advantageous and also not really a choice. We are unmarried and we're providing full support for a minor child. So we are not married. We can't do that. And that just leaves head of household and surviving spouse. Now let's think about that. This happened 4 years ago. We know the rules for surviving spouse. Well, those rules are not 4 years. You need to do that in a much more recent period than 4 years. So in this case, we are going to simply need to choose the head of household. That will be our final answer here is letter C. And that's our most advantageous status. Moving along, we've got another question. For which of the following scenarios would the head of household filing status be available to the taxpayer? That's a great question, and let's run through it and figure it out. First off, our answer choice, a taxpayer with no dependents, is the surviving spouse of an individual who died in the current year. Give you a second to think about that. Is that going to be a possibility? Well, the head of household status, this is only available to taxpayers who are unmarried and maintain a household for a qualifying dependent. Boom, we're going to eliminate that. Then next up, we got letter B. A single taxpayer maintains a separate home for his parent who qualifies as a dependent. Okay, I mean, I feel as though that checks off all the boxes that we saw throughout the lesson, so I'm going to leave that on the table. Next, we've got an unmarried taxpayer maintains a household with a 28-year-old son who earns $10,000 during the tax year. Well, the head of household is only for unmarried people, and this person is unmarried, and they also need a qualifying dependent. Now, in this case, the son is above the age of 18, earned more than the required amount. There's nothing here indicating that this person has disabilities. I mean, to the point where they even mention in another example that there's a disabled child. If this person was disabled, then it would be a different story. We know that person would be a dependent. But in this case, not going to be a possibility. And lastly here, a single taxpayer maintains a household that is the principal home for 5 months of the year for his disabled child. And this is going to be unavailable as well, only available to taxpayers who are unmarried and maintain a household for a qualifying dependent. Now, this person is not going to meet that criteria. This is 5 months of the year, not the full year, the majority of the year, anything like that. So this is not going to be available as well. That's going to leave us with our final answer here of letter B. More great questions. Keep practicing up. You got this. I've got some faith in you, and you can do it. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Hey there. Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material. We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.